So one important thing when you're graphing is kind of having the idea of the different shapes that can happen, because sometimes you see a couple points, you're not really sure how to connect them in a way that makes sense, but if you know your basic shapes, you just kind of know intuitively how you should connect these dots. All right, and again, if you ever forget these basic shapes, you can always figure out graphs by just plugging in x values and getting out y values and just plotting a bunch of points. The good thing about using your basic shapes to help you is you don't need as many points to know what's happening for the rest of the graph. All right, so we're gonna go through a few important ones. All right, f of x equals x squared. So whenever there's this x squared in your problem, your graph is gonna be a parabola. All right, this kind of U shape. All right, so parabola is x squared. Again, you can just always get these by plugging in points. I'm just not going through it in here. Square root of x. All right, you can't put in negative numbers into a square root, so there's nothing over here, but it starts at 0 and kind of loops away after that. All right, so that's our square root graph. All right, there's two different types of exponential graphs. So the first one is that the base of your exponential, in this case 2, is bigger than 1. It's going to start low over here at this asymptote and then go through the point 0, 1 and rise after that. So this is if the base is bigger than 1, and if the base is less than 1, you kind of flip it, and it looks like this. So 1/3 is a base less than 1, so now it's going in the opposite direction. You see it still goes to the point 0, 1, but now it's just kind of going the opposite direction. All right, logarithms are similar to exponentials. They're the inverses, so they kind of have two shapes as well. So if my base is bigger than 1, it hugs the y-axis, comes up to the point 1, 0, and then kind of curves away like that. So that's my logarithm. Base bigger than 1, base smaller than 1. You flip it, it looks like this. And so exponentials and logs a little bit harder than square roots and parabolas because there's two different shapes, but it's all dependent on what the base is. All right, and then our trig function, sine, we really only care about 0 to 2 pi, that kind of first thing, but sine starts in the middle, goes up, and comes back down, and that's my sine graph. And cosine is the one that starts at 1 and comes down and back up. All right, so that's my cosine graph. All right, they're very similar. Just knowing kind of where they start will help you determine one over the other. All right, so we have a little bit more to talk about with graphing before you're ready to practice, but go ahead and look at those things next.